to the show. Wednesdays is always a great time at 4 o'clock because then we get a chance to talk with the Daily News columnist, author, works for MLB.com as well, the great Mike Lupica, and he joins us right now. Mike, how are you?
Good, guys. You know, I was thinking with everything that we have going on in sports right now, I remember the night in the press room in Lake Placid. And we had just beaten the Soviets in hockey, and it's time to write. And I heard a friend of mine about 2 seats down saying, how do you write this? And I said, no. These are the nights why we got into this business. If you can't write tonight, you have to find something else to do. This time that we're having in New York sports is an awful lot of fun.
It's amazing because there are so many stories, even with the teams that are losing. The Giants lose their left tackle. The Jets get Devontae Adams, give another toy to Aaron Rodgers. But let's start with the Mets, who are playing a Game 3 tonight at Citi Field. Doc and Darryl are going to participate in the first pitch. How do you think they came out of L.A.? Who do you think has momentum here?
Oh, I think they do, Michael. I'm not even sure they would have picked up a lot of momentum if they had won 3-2 or 4-3 the other day. They needed to punch back, and obviously Lindor teed him up, and then Vientos hits the grand slam. So that was a message game to me, and it was, and it's Michael, you know this, we all know this. This is the beauty of October baseball. You go from losing 9-0, they nearly invoked the slaughter rule from Little League the day before, to being ahead 6-0 after 2 innings the next day. It's the beauty of the moment in baseball at this time. They sent a message, and now, you know, we can argue about who we think their best pitcher is, but Sevy has been pretty damn good, and Walker Buehler has not been Walker Buehler ever since he came back from the injury. So if they get up 2-1 tonight, and it's, you know, I'm sure it's going to be some scene at Citi Field. Michael, listen, I think the Dodgers are a great story. I keep waiting for Ohtani to turn into the monster that we know that will try to devour Flushing, Queens, okay? I, in my heart, believe that the Mets are the better team. And Wednesday after Wednesday for months, we have talked about the fact that they have had the best record in baseball for 5 months. It's hard to have the best record for 5 months and not be the real thing. They are the real thing, and what we have found out is of the fourth, and you know what, we'll get to the Yankees in a minute. They've shown that they can take a punch too, okay, because they were 10-23 in the middle of the season. But there is no team that has shown the ability to get knocked down, get back up. That, you know, we keep saying when they come back, that game was their season. That game against the Braves was their season. That game against the Brewers was their season. This is their DNA right now. And in 3 days they might be out of business, but I have a great belief in them.
Am I being picayune, or should I be legitimately concerned about this bullpen, or at least with Maton and Diaz?
Listen, I wrote a column yesterday about Diaz, and I evoked the name. And sometimes you have to evoke a name that dates you a little bit just because it's so damn good. And it was Don Stanhouse, who used to be Earl Weaver's closer. Earl once called him Full Pack Stanhouse because he said he went through a full pack of Raleighs when Stanhouse was in the 9th inning. But the best line he ever had about Stanhouse was, he has no stress, he's a carrier. Okay? And that's what Edwin Diaz. Earl was just one of my favorite people I've ever met. Yeah, he has no stress. He's a carrier. Okay, so listen, they're going to ride with Edwin Diaz. Yeah, I looked up. You know what his ERA is for the playoffs? See, I always come prepared. 5.79. His ERA for the playoffs. But we're remembering the good parts and not the bad parts. And the other day, you know, he comes in and what does he do? He starts off the 9th inning exactly the way, not exactly. He puts 2 guys on the way he did against the Phillies in the 9th inning, the last game of that series. And then what does he turn around and do? Oh, I know. He strikes out Mookie, Teoscar, and Freddie Freeman. Ball game. And so, yeah, I think we talked about this last week. If I have a concern, it's at some point, if they're going to go to where they want to go, he's going to have to get the last 3 outs of a pennant clinching game. He's going to have to get the last 3 outs of a World Series clinching game, and everybody's heart is going to be in their throats because that's who he is.
Well, let's shift over to the Yankees now. So they're up 2-0, and I said at the start of the show, Mike, that they've won 5 out of 6 games in the playoffs, and they have yet to play their A game. Do you look at it that way too?
Yep. Absolutely, Michael. And you know what? Here's the most encouraging thing. Even though, and I don't mean to offend anybody from Cleveland, they look to be playing a junior varsity team right now. Okay, but they pitched the way they pitched at the start of the season when they looked like the very best team in baseball. And at this time of year, that is a tremendous thing to have in your pocket. They are pitching so well. They pitched so well that they could wait until last night for Judge to hit his home run. Stanton has been what we have seen in other Octobers. I'm sure you guys have been talking a lot about that. I mean, he's their Mr. October right now. Oh, and Michael, I had a line in my Sunday column the other day. I hope I didn't offend you because you can't be the voice of the Yankees because apparently Jazz Chisholm thinks he is.
I did see that. I was not offended. I thought it was a very good line. Now, John Sterling was offended. John was offended, from what I hear.
Well, yeah, no. Right now, Jazz is all hat and no cattle, isn't he? But no, they're pitching. And so when you pitch and you're playing against a team, the only time, I swear to God, I thought that they were in peril last night is remember in the first inning, it looked like Ramirez was sitting on 2 pitches, those 2 loud foul balls against Garrett Cole. And then, of course, they started dropping the ball. And they just, I always talk about this in the biggest games in sports, okay? The Guardians just do not look to be up to the circumstances of the occasion. And maybe it'll turn around in Cleveland, but I don't see how it possibly can because you're right, Mike. It's not been like rope-a-dope. The Yankees haven't been laying on the ropes, but they jump them early, and we see what happens. The Guardians can't fight back. They drop the ball. Kwan, I thought, was going to be a game changer if they were going to do anything in this series, and he's doing nothing. But when that ball dropped, when the shortstop dropped that ball last night, I thought there's just no way they're going to win this game. This couldn't be easy. The only thing I keep waiting to hear somebody say, well, not only have they beaten the Royals and the Guardians, Mike, but they may have to throw in the Twins, and then they knock them off before they go to the World Series.
But I've been picking on the Central in both leagues all year. I do agree with you. That's the junior varsity. Would it have really been any different if it had been Baltimore and Houston? I know Houston has the history, but I don't know if outside of the Yankees there are really any great teams in the American League.
No, I mean, Donnie, if you had told me before the start of the playoffs, who's the boogeyman? Well, we know who the boogeyman has been for the Yankees. It's been the Astros. And I was shocked at how easily they went down. And I thought, you know what? I was ready to crank it up for Yankees-Astros one more time because I wanted to see the team that has broken the Yankees' hearts 3 different times through 2017. But you know what? Listen, you play who you play. The Yankees are doing exactly what they're doing, and what they are really doing is TCB, taking care of business, and in an efficient way, and the way they are playing right now. And then they've made mistakes. Chisholm made a boneheaded play, but the way they are playing right now, they look like the efficient Tories Yankee teams that we remember at this time of year. They are not beating themselves. They are pitching extremely well. They have had timely hitting. I didn't think Rizzo was going to be a difference maker. He might very well be. He certainly was last night. No, the Yankees, there's nothing not to like about what we have now seen from the Yankees in the first 6 games of the playoffs.
So, Mike, I'm hearing from precincts, and I said this in the 3 o'clock hour, that against the lefty Boyd, the Yankees are strongly considering moving Stanton up to 4th and starting Trevino behind the plate. Do you worry about messing with a good thing?
No, I don't. I don't think you need to get locked in. And Michael, I have to tell you, quite frankly, and I love Wells, and he's had a wonderful year. I don't know why Stan hasn't been at batting cleanup all along. He is. If there's a more classic cleanup hitter in the game than him, I'd like to know who it is. I've often wondered why they just move him up, go Soto, Judge, and Stanton, and say, take your best shot, boys.
All right, the other big story, the Jets, they have a heartbreaking loss to Buffalo. They go out and get Adams. How much of a difference maker is Devontae Adams going to be to this 2-4 Jet team?
Well, I'm just happy that they got Devontae because I know that'll make Aaron happy because I tweeted this out yesterday. Now that he's got Devontae, the only thing left for the Jets to do is get him a pony for his birthday. And what?
No, as long as he's happy, you're right. I want the kid to be happy.
Do we not talk about this? We want Aaron to be happy. Okay. No, they had to go after this guy. They had no choice. He was available. The draft choice. Listen, it's a little late in the church service for the Jets to start worrying about trading draft choices. And guess what? This is all on number 8 the rest of the way. They're not losing because of the defense. Everybody says, the kicker missed 2 field goals. Well, the other kicker missed a field goal and hit the worst extra point I've ever seen the other night. They hired this guy to win the kinds of games that he just lost 3 straight. And everybody talks about him like he's Peyton and Brady. No, he's not. I don't care how many MVPs he's won, okay? He's won 1 Super Bowl in his life. And the idea that you want to be Tom Brady, beat Tom Brady now. They have given you everything you want. And I'll tell you what, and he's got this kind of accountability-ish, guys, where he sounds like he's being accountable, but he's really not. I'm not playing up to my standards. Well, what standards? What standards are you talking about? The standards that we saw when you couldn't win any big games on your way out of Green Bay? And I thought it was a lousy thing he did to Mike Williams.
I was going to ask you, when was the last time, all the years you've been covering football, that you heard a quarterback say the wide receiver ran the wrong route?
Oh, no. It was a chicken you-know-what thing to do. It was a completely lousy thing to do to a team because, he tried to get all wonky and where he was supposed to be. Go back and look at that play. How far away was he from the yard marker? That ball, if he had been where Rodgers said he was supposed to be, that ball would have been underthrown by 10 yards. He threw the exact same ball that lost him the game in London to the Vikings. Okay, and yes, we all got swept away. Threw another Hail Mary. Great, because other than the Hail Mary, you tell me how many times this guy has been great in the 6 games we've seen them play so far.
I've asked this a bunch this week, Mike, and I'm curious for your thoughts. When they got the ball late, did the football gut in you say, "Oh man, this guy's going to march right down the field and win the game"? No. I didn't feel it.
I didn't feel it because I just saw that movie in London. And, I've written this on multiple occasions. Daniel Jones has yet to show me he can take his team down the field and put it in the end zone to win the game. Okay? He's had some chances this year, and he didn't do it. But the guy who plays for the Jets, that's kind of supposed to be his thing, okay? And the one cautionary tale I have had since he got to town is not just his age, okay? Because there have been still are times when he looks older than the earth, okay? But you go back and you look at his last 2 seasons with the Packers, okay? He couldn't beat the Jimmy Garoppolo-led 49ers at home to win a playoff game. And then the next year, with a home playoff game against the Lions, who weren't yet the Lions, that was as good as a playoff game because when in the end, he lost that game too. So it's been a while since Aaron Rodgers won a big game. So guess what? He's got one on Sunday, and if he's going to show up, Sunday's the time to show up because you look at their schedule going forward. It's not horrible, but this he has not been as advertised. And the one true thing he said is it's not up to my standards. Yeah, you're right. You're 100% right. And it will be very interesting to see, if the old Aaron Rodgers shows up in Pittsburgh on Sunday night or just old Aaron Rodgers.
I want to read you a tweet. We're talking about the Mike Williams thing where he threw him under the bus, and Aaron Rodgers, he waves his hand like you used to the people, Mike. If you haven't played the game, right? So this is a tweet from Ryan Fitzpatrick. You ready? The former Jet quarterback. This response, he's talking about the response, he's playing a clip of Williams. This response is the biggest thing I don't understand about Aaron. Can be super charismatic. His swagger gives teammates the ultimate confidence. But why can't he shoulder all the blame in the media and then get behind closed doors with Mike Williams or the whole offense or the whole team or anyone else that isn't doing their job and tell them he needs more out of them? The need to set the record straight at the expense of someone lesser than just hurts me. That's a former NFL quarterback, also an Ivy leaguer. What does Aaron Rodgers say to that?
He's 100. Well, it's coming from a guy who played in the league for a long time, who's the last guy that nearly put the Jets into the playoffs. He's 100% right. Yeah, I heard a guy in a bar one night talking about his ex-wife and said she had all the qualities of a dog except loyalty. Okay, and so no, that was to me that's he's the guy. Would they vote him best teammate or whatever? I don't know how they'd know over in the Jets land. All I know is they played 6 games. They scored more. They scored the same number of points this year with him that they did with Zach Wilson as the quarterback last year. The turnover differential is worse, and so has he been a lot more than the other guy? Yeah, he threw a Hail Mary the other night. Congratulations, you're the home office for that. Win the game. They brought you here to win the game. They brought you here to be a difference maker. And the only time he's really looked like a difference maker so far this season is against a team quarterback by Will Levis.
I do have one thing before we leave that's going to make you feel better.
What?
Devontae is living with Aaron because he couldn't find a place. He makes $20 million a year, couldn't find a place in Jersey, and they actually drove to the facility together. So it's really a good time to be a Jet.
Oh, my God. You know what? Again, let's circle back because we're all in the same lane with this. We just want them to be happy.
That's all. I agree. I couldn't agree with you more, Mike.
The image I had, because you're a big fan of the movie Taken, is when the stepfather bought the horse and he's sitting there with the karaoke machine. Like, that's the image that I had. Like, he got Devontae Adams is his horse.
Donnie, oh, my God, you're so right. I wish I thought about it.
Mike, another great Wednesday. Thank you.
Talk to you next week.
Enjoy the game tonight. All right, we have the Mets right here on our station. The Mets and the Dodgers, Game 3 of the NLCS. And we'll have the Yankees. Well, tomorrow we won't have the Yankees because it's going to be on during our show.
Right.
But you can consume the Yankees, obviously, on TV or another radio station. But why would you not listen to our show?
And you'll be able to, if you wanted to listen to the Yankees stream, of course, on the ESPN New York app, you could do that. We'll have that available.
You are so locked in. You're so good at this, Peter.
Well, but I want people to be with us.
The Yankees will be on 1050 as well.
Yes, that's true.
There you go. The national broadcast there.
No, they will not.
Oh, no, not tomorrow?
Because the Rangers are on 1050 at 7. The Yankees have to be in one place for the whole time. They'll be on the stream.
Oh.
See, Don?
I do like that policy. Don't put a game somewhere that you can't finish. Right?
I think that's what my mom used to say.
No, yeah, that's what I try to tell the kids, too. Don't start something you can't finish.